Hello, my name is Steven Sines. I am the STEM coordinator at the Grand Prairie Collegiate Institute, and today I'll be giving you instructions on how to judge the Can in the Parking Lot Lego competitions for Stemposium. They are pretty easy to judge, and the instructions that come with them are quite self-explanatory, but this will give you a visual look at how you will be doing it on the day of Stemposium. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at steven.sines@gpist.org.
This is a typical robot, and all robots must be able to fit within a 12 by 12 inch cube. So measuring from the back to the front, this one is about 10 inches. From side to side, we include the wire that is sticking out. So this one is about 8.5 inches that way. And then you also include how tall it is, and all that needs to be less than 12 inches to begin with. For the can, all the cans are going to be set up equidistant away, so as you can see they go from straight across at 45-degree angles as you move around, and each one is about a 1 inch away from the inside of the black border. When the team is ready, they will place their robot on the inside of that circle. There's a small X there. They can face it any direction they want to, and their time begins when they press the button in the middle to make it run the program. As it is going to the program, the idea is to push the cans outside of the black line all the way without actually touching anything on the black line or outside. So as you see, the light sensors do go beyond the line, but the tires do not touch, and that is good. If, on the other hand, their tires do touch, they will be penalized the 5 seconds that is required for that. The goal is for them to push all the cans outside of the black line so that they are not on the black line at all anymore. It's okay if they knock them over, push them out, whatever, as long as they are out of the circle, they're good. This is the recording rubric for the can. As you see, it has several different sections here that they will get their scores from. Mainly, we're talking about time. They're trying to do the object as fast as possible. So the first one is time up to 150 seconds. So as you are grading, you are timing the person. In the end, you'll take whatever their time is. So let's say it took them 1 minute to finish. Well, 1 minute translates into 60 seconds. So their time would be 60 seconds. As they're doing it, anytime they touch one of the black lines with the wheel or whatever, remember if they cross over but don't touch the actual line, that doesn't count against them, just only if something physically touches the line or goes over, they'll get points counted off. So as they're going, I would put tally marks down, so maybe they hit it twice, and that'll equal to 10 seconds. Over here, hand touches. Anytime a scholar has to reach down and reposition or move the robot before they have finished completing the task, it's going to be a 10-second penalty for each. So let's say they did it twice, so that would give them a total of 20 seconds added on to their time. And so what you do is you add these three things, 60 plus 10 plus 20 equals 90, and that is going to be their actual time they're going to be scored on. So they took 90 seconds. To get their time score is 150, which is the allotted time to do it, minus their total, and that equals what their actual time score is going to be. So in this case, it is 60 is how much time they had left over. From there, we will go to the next part, which is completing the task. The task is for the can getting all the cans outside of the black line. If they complete it, they get 100 points. And so you would add that to their 60. So 60 plus 100, of course, is equal to 160. And that'll be their overall completing task score. Their final score is you take this answer here, and you're going to multiply it by 3. So 160 times 3. And if you don't want to do that in your head, have your calculator nearby. You'll be using iPads and things as well, maybe. So you do 160 times 3. So their total score for the can would be a 480. And so you just basically follow the instructions given and complete this as it goes, and that'll be their score. With the parking lot, as you see, it is set up with a black wall on the top side with 4 Lego barriers going down the side that are going to be 2 studs wide and 32 studs long. Those barriers are to be measured so that the middle of the black line is 6 inches and each of the middle of the Legos is going to be at 0 and 12 inches. And so those need to be measured each time to make sure they're in the correct place. When it is time to run, we will be placing 2 walls to block off 2 of the parking spaces. That can be done randomly, or you can choose to do it the same way each time. The robots are set up so that they are within the mat. On the real one, there is a black line there that designates the starting point. And the robot travels and turns and goes into the parking space. In order to get the points that are required, it needs to be beyond that black line. And the black line is 3 inches away from where the wall is. So any piece that goes beyond that black line makes the robot in base where it needs to be counted, and that's good. So right there, that is good. Right there, not so much. And so that's what they're trying to go for. Definitely the wall needs to be adjusted to make sure it is in the right spot so that they can be scored appropriately. And as long as there is something that is beyond the 3-inch margin, they are good. If the robot hits the wall, that is going to be a penalty, as well as if the robot hits the borders or hits the blocking walls. Those are also penalties. The robot can also not come off the mat to touch. It may, however, have pieces that float over the edge of the mat as long as the points of contact are still within the borders. The way that this is designed, there are 3 different ways this could go with the first parking space, second parking space, and third. If the first parking space is where they have to go, whatever their time is their time. The second parking space, they'll actually get 3 points back or 3 seconds back, and the same thing, there would be 6 seconds for the third parking space because it is further. This is the rubric for the parking lot. As you see, it's set up very similar to the Can rubric. You have the time, which is up to 150 seconds. The line or wall touch, line being the actual little Lego borders that you have, and wall touch meaning the walls, either the blocking walls or the wall that is at the end of the parking lot. This also includes falling off the mat. Hand touches, anytime you have to pick it up and move it. Allowances. This is a little bit different because the first space is closer, so whatever their time is and what their time is. The second place, since it is further, you will take off 3 seconds of their time, and third space you will take off 6 seconds. And so you add those together, subtract that from 150, and that'll be their time score. And then just like in the Can, you add the 100 if they complete the task, meaning that they part within 3 inches of the wall inside the correct parking space. Multiply by 3. So if somebody is doing theirs and it takes them, I'm going to say 50 seconds, and let's say they ended up, they touched a wall or something twice. And so we have that. That's going to be equal to 10 seconds total. So just tally marks as you go through. Hand touches, I'm going to go ahead and say they didn't touch anything with their hands. And then over here we have our allowance. So if it was the second parking space, and I would go ahead and circle that, you would have a minus 3 seconds. So they have 50 seconds plus the 10 seconds for the line penalties, and then subtract 3 to get your total amount, which is going to be 60 minus 3, which is 57. So this total here is 57 seconds. You subtract that from 150, and that'll give you your actual total time score, which ended up being 93 seconds. From there, if they were able to successfully complete the task, they get the 100 points. So you would add that to the 93. 93 plus 100 is 193. And then finally, you multiply this final score here by 3. So 193 times 3 will give them their final score. Feel free to, once again, use a calculator. 193 times 3 equals 579. And that's how they get their score for the parking lot.